Hi, it's Elisa again. I haven't said this for such a long time, literally years. And here I am. So I'm just gonna talk, and I think I'm going to edit this video later. But this is pretty monumental for me because I haven't really sat down and I haven't made a YouTube video in a long time, as I was saying. And I was just watching my channel actually, a few minutes ago, and I saw the last video I uploaded, and it was when I had just moved to Italy. And then I watched some previous videos from like 10 years ago, and first of all, I look so young. And I don't mean to diminish myself. Sorry, my phone. I'm gonna put it on silent. I don't mean to sort of like downplay myself and say, oh my God, I'm old, because I don't like that kind of self-deprecating talk, It's sort of like, it doesn't help anybody. Yeah, but realistically speaking, I did look younger. However, I did look way more unsure of myself, particularly I was watching this video about stealth, At the time I was talking a lot about transitioning and... sorry, I'm just sneeze. Oh dear. I don't know if I'm going to leave this in or cut it out, however. And so this video about being stealth, which in the transgender community means not disclosing one's transgender status at work or, in several sorts of life or social situations. And how that was making me feel insecure because I felt like I couldn't be stealth or like, and it's kind of... I understand where that comes from, insecurity and feeling like, if I'm not seen as a trans person, then, I'm acceptable, and however, it's really just nonsense, isn't it, Of course, everybody has their own, their rights to what they do with their lives. And sometimes, I suppose people don't disclose the fact that they're trans at work, just like I don't, for example, in the sense that I don't particularly talk about it, right? But I don't deny, I don't talk about it assuming that everybody knows, because everybody does know. So I just don't feel, I'm not in an environment where it's kind of appropriate to talk about that, So speaking of which, for the past 2 years, I've been working as a language teacher. And I know that the outfit is not really reminiscent of, a teacher. But this is my YouTube channel. This has nothing to do with my teaching. And I just really wanted to look hot for my channel because, well, it does have an impact on views, but that's not the reason why. That's because I wanted to feel good and do this video basically as a therapeutic means, sort of for me to express myself and my creativity as well. So yeah, I've been an English teacher for the past 2.5, well, it's going to be 3 years let's just say 2.5. And I've been working for a language school, but as a freelancer, therefore I'm not solely tied to this school, but I can work with different clients. And it's actually good to sit down and talk about this because would never have thought in a million years that I would have accomplished this. And for accomplished, I don't mean that my financial reward or my salary, or I'm not making all that much money, to be honest with you, from teaching. I have sort of other source of income, but just exclusively from teaching, so exclusively from work, as in putting in the hours. Obviously, it's not like I'm making that much money, but I am not actually, it's a very good way to make a living for me, and definitely much more enjoyable than what I was doing before, which was retail management in London. And I discovered a lot of things about me that I wasn't aware of. I didn't know. For example, I've been teaching kids, I teach adults and children, so not exclusively children. But, during this time, I have been teaching children too. And mind you, obviously, to begin with, I did find the prospect of teaching kids quite overwhelming, and it did trigger my fears, specifically my insecurity around, being clocked, so to speak, or being identified as trans, or being asked, intrusive questions, what we could describe as intrusive question. Obviously, from a child perspective, they are just questions, they're just curious. So, and oftentimes they come from a place of innocent curiosity, and sort of they don't come from a place of malice, However, the way I perceive these questions can often trigger my insecurities. Having said that, that hasn't really happened, in the sense that I did find quite a lot of purpose and fulfillment in teaching children, just because they are important, they're just important people. That's my view, they are one of the most important, if not the most important people in the world, and I have a lot of respect for children, and I'm honored to be somewhat part of their life, in a teacher capacity. However, in whatever capacity, I'm able to give something, and sort of like be of service, and that's very fulfilling. It doesn't come without stress, to be honest with you, because everybody knows the challenges about, minding children or being responsible for kids or teaching children. It's not something that, as much as you can study, there's no blueprint for it, right? Because children are people, and they are completely different from one another, and they have different needs, wants, and stories, right? Anyway, not to make it, to sort of like talk too much about this. I also find teaching adults rather rewarding, and of course it does come with its withdrawals, like, for example, the fact that teaching beginners is not as exciting, right, as teaching somebody that is already advanced, as somebody with whom you can have conversations. I can explore topics that I find myself interesting, or I find interesting myself. There you go. Um, Whereas with somebody that is not acquainted with the language, it doesn't really have, uh, the necessary vocabulary or grammar knowledge to have a proper conversation, obviously, it can be a tiny bit more tedious at times. But nonetheless, it just depends on the people, because to be honest with you, I have beginners classes that can be so much fun, because at the end of the day, when it comes to adults and adult education, oftentimes they are very appreciative of just, having an hour where they can actually go back to being a student, It's no longer a chore or a task. It doesn't have that value that it used to have, growing up, where it was something that we were forced to do. Even if it's a company course, it's still, I think it's still enjoyable to have the possibility to attend a language course as part of one's job, So there is a lot of fun and enjoyment there. So I sound like I'm full of bean, and I didn't really think that I was going to sound like that. Because obviously, that there is a part of me that really, really misses London, That's in many ways, my home. That's where I have spent 23 years of my life, and literally the formative years of my life, my 20s, my 30s, part of my 40s. So what I call the formative years, in the sense that, as an adult. I really miss it, and I do oftentimes, go back and forth in my mind as to whether I want to go back to London or not, and the answer is I don't know. And what I do know that this kind of going back and forth does stop me from enjoying the present. And really kind of reap the benefits of my life's work, in a way. And by life's work, I do not mean career. I mean life's experiences and inner work, mostly. I've been going to psychotherapy for 13 years. I did, my journey ended 2 years ago. And that was a wonderful moment for me, because it wasn't an abrupt end. It was something that my therapist and I decided was kind of time to face, and we faced it, within a time frame. We talked about it, and I have to say that now I really feel like my therapist's voice is being internalized by me. So I've internalized it, basically, and does not mean at all that I don't have struggles. But I really do have tools, And speaking of which, I actually, ever since I've been in Italy, I've been sort of going to these psychodrama sessions. It's basically like group therapy. Like a group therapy setting, however, is structured as almost like sort of, not an acting class, but you basically have to reenact certain significant episodes of your life, and you will assign the so-called roles to the other people in the group, and after sort of playing your role within that particular scene, then you will play everybody else's role. So you can kind of see this distressing episode, or this episode in general from many different point of views, and then obviously there's feedback, so other people can share about the way they connect to what has come up, and consequently maybe an episode or a scene will come up for them and they will reenact it and you will play a part in it. So that, has been, I want to say, good from a therapeutic point of view, challenging at times. The whole group thing is not easy. If I have to be completely honest, and I'm just being completely honest, sometimes I do feel that when attending these groups, I feel like there needs to be a lot of inner work prior to joining a group. Just because for example, I make myself quite vulnerable, really vulnerable. I do speak about, really vulnerable situations. And for me, right? So, because I know that the only way this stuff works is if I actually really dig deep. And if I'm honest, 100% honest, and oftentimes I find other people struggle with that. It's difficult to make oneself vulnerable and to really cut to the chase, right? And really get to grips with what is really going on and what is really hurting. So, sometimes I feel like, oh, well, why am I making myself so vulnerable? And then I have to wait for everybody else to catch up. But that's just my point of view. But I also started some individual sessions with one of the therapists that coordinates the group. And, I like it. It's okay. I feel like, my approach is rather different now. I'm more aware of who I am. And that a therapist is there to help. Is in no way an authority or somebody that is sort of like superior or somebody that has sort of this unconfutable ideas or undisputable ideas or unconfutable. I don't know if that actually exists, but I might have to cut that out. It's basically somebody that is not an authority over me, that speaks the truth. They speak their truth, and it might really help, or it might just be something that I know already deep down, and I need to be reminded of. I do think oftentimes that's how it feels these days. So, all in all, this is me. I do feel like and that's the reason why I have made this video. I do feel like I really thought I want to express myself creatively. I want to find a creative outlet. I feel like I have a lot of creativity in me. And I don't know whether it's writing or drawing or, acting. I love to act. But I feel like this needs to happen, for me. It's important. It's very important. Also because I was thinking of legacy today. I don't know why this word came up, but what am I leaving behind? And I feel like, my YouTube videos are going to be what's left of me when I'm not there anymore, because they're going to be there forever. And I can already see myself like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, at the beginning of my transition, when I moved here, or, in my flat in London. It's crazy, right? It's literally like a testimony of my life. So, I've been talking for nearly 20 minutes now, and that would be a video far too long, so I'm going to have to stop here. But It's really good to see you. I mean, I don't see you, but it's good to connect with whoever decides to connect with me. So if you want to leave any comments, you're more than welcome. I'll be so happy to see comments, and I know I'm not a YouTuber, I'm a YouTube watcher. But, again, technically speaking, I've been here since the beginning, very much so. Because, I started this channel in 2009, I believe, right? That's a long time ago. Wow. Okay, so I will end it here, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye.